My name is Stijn Florek. I work in the World Cultures Collection at the Australian Museum, looking after artifacts and objects. And in a collection we have sizable collection of Egyptian antiquities. And among them there are these interesting throwing sticks. They come from Qurna, close to Luxor in Egypt. Throwing sticks were a specialized hunting tool for a very long time, used by people in all continents. Now, they were probably replaced comprehensively by bow and arrow somewhere around 10,000 years ago. And it was interesting that they were still used in ancient Egypt. Now, these throwing sticks, they were described by Maspero as votive. So they were put into tombs with the burial. But I have one from a different site altogether, which is not perfectly finished, but it's more like a functional boomerang with a handle there. And many of them are quite comparable to hunting boomerangs used by First Nations people. There are a number of images on the walls painted and engraved in Egypt, people hunting with throwing sticks, mostly for birds in the marshes. It seems they were not probably used by ordinary people to hunt for ducks and other water birds for meat, but they were more used for hunting as a recreation. So we can imagine it was considered like a noble tool, that a weapon that required some skills, more patience and special skills actually throwing them, unlike bow that at that time would be quite commonly used. And we're talking about 18th dynasty, the same from which Tutankhamun came. And mentioning Tutankhamun, in his tomb there were a number of throwing sticks, and some of them, people made replicas of them and used them. And they fly beautifully, parallel to the ground, long distance, and they can hit the target quite well. In the early 20th century, Gaston Maspero was a French Egyptologist. He was a director of excavations in Egypt. And also he was in charge of developing Cairo Museum at that time. And that was for first time where these votive sticks were displayed together with the First Nation boomerangs sent from Australian Museum in exchange. Those two First Nations boomerangs are the only non-Egyptian artifacts in Cairo Museum, and they are actually kept with a collection of Tutankhamun because they become like an essential reference for boomerangs, for throwing sticks coming from his tomb. And that's really quite interesting connection between famous pharaoh and our little museum collection.